Hi, I'm Carrie Holding, Certified Pilates Instructor. Today I'm going to walk you through a 30-minute mat workout. A great workout you could do at home anytime. All you're going to need is a mat. And if you have a ball, maybe even a playground ball or something from your garage, grab that. If not, you can do the workout without it. Let's get started. So let's start by just stretching out. Find a comfortable place to sit. And let's reach those arms straight up to the sky, lengthening out through your fingers. We're going to come into a side bend. Place your right hand down on the mat and reach up and over with that left arm, stretching out through your rib cage and side body. Come back up through center, lengthen through the crown of your head, and let's come over to the other side. Left hand comes down, right hand stretches up and over. We're going to come back up through center and open those arms out to a T. Let's find some rotation around your spine. So rotate from the waist up to one side. Come back through center and to the other side. Just waking up through the body here, finding some movement around your spine. Last one to this side. Good. And let those arms come down. From here, we're going to come down onto your mat, on your back. If you have that ball, place it between your inner thighs. If not, just glue those legs together. Let's warm up through your core here. So you're going to interlace your hands behind your head. We're going to come up to a chest lift, nice and slow. You're going to peel your head and shoulders up off the mat as you squeeze that ball, look right at it, and then set the head and shoulders back down. So challenge yourself to go slower than you might normally go. Find more control, working through your core versus tugging on that head and neck. Elbows are nice and wide. Good. Let's exhale to come out, squeeze that ball, look at it, inhale to set it back down. 3 more times here. How high can you lift that head and shoulders up off the mat, working from your core. Good. The next time we come up, you're going to reach the arms out in front of you. Bring the hands behind the legs and see if you can curl yourself up a little bit higher. Let's stay lifted here and bring the hands behind the head. We're going to rotate. On an exhale, rotate right shoulder towards left knee. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, left shoulder to right knee. Good. So rotating side to side, trying to keep your head and shoulders up off the mat. The elbows nice and wide. Think of shoulder to opposite knee. Working through your obliques, holding in that best, highest chest lift. 1 more to each side. Rotate, come through center, rotate, come through center, and set the head down. Stretch those arms back behind you and lengthen out. Your core should be nice and warm now. So let's take the ball out between your inner thighs and place it in your hands. You're going to bring both legs up to tabletop, so think 90-degree angle here. Shins and heels are parallel to the floor. You're going to stretch your arms straight up to the sky and then come back up to that best, highest chest lift. Think of trying to reach your fingers all the way towards your toes. Stay lifted here. We're going to stretch your right leg out long, pull it back to center, and switch to your left. So again, a really slow pace. Trying to work through your core and activate out through that working leg that's stretched out. You're looking right at your knees. If at any point it's too much to keep the head and shoulders lifted, just set them down and follow the pattern of the legs. Good. 1 more on each leg. Single leg stretch here. Last one. And set it down. Taking a little break. We're going to come right back up to that position and work on extending both legs out. So legs come to tabletop. You find that best, highest chest lift, reaching your hands out over your shins. You're You're gonna open up your arms and legs and then close back to the starting point. You're trying to keep your head and shoulders lifted up off of the mat, holding in that best highest chest lift. Both legs lengthen out, arms reach back, and then you pull back in. 4, 3, you can always set that head down if it's too much. 2, last 1, and set it down. Really nice job. From here, we're gonna move on to some bridging. So place that ball back between your inner thighs. If you don't have it, just glue. Have those feet about a fist distance apart. So when we come into a bridge, you want your heels stacked underneath your knees. And then you're lying down. Neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Put a little pressure into this ball, and then you're gonna lift your hips and spine up off the mat. Squeeze that ball, tighten up through your core. Inhale, lower the hips down to a hump. Exhale, lift and squeeze. Inhale, lower. So as you come up to this bridge, think of knitting your ribs together and working your glutes, hamstrings, and quads as a unit. Trying not to just lift from the hip, but working your core down through the upper part of your legs. When you come up to the top of that bridge, lengthen those knees forward and squeeze that ball and lower back down. Let's do 3 more. 2. Last 1. Good. Let's lift those hips up one more time. Find that best highest bridge. From here, you're gonna squeeze into the ball and hold pressure on it. Pull those ribs in towards one another, and let's do little tiny hip lifts to the sky. Like you wanted to tap your belly button 1 inch higher towards the ceiling. Holding up in that best highest bridge, really squeezing through your glutes and pulling that belly button back towards your spine for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Imprint your spine down onto the mat, 1 vertebra at a time. Good. Let's set this ball aside and stretch your legs straight up to the sky. Let's work to stretch out the back side of your legs. So you can lift your head and shoulders up off the mat and pull those legs in towards your face to stretch behind the back side of your legs. Let's stay lifted here. Try to keep your head and shoulders up high. Bring both hands behind your right leg. Let that left leg stretch down towards the mat. And switch. So you're trying to keep your head and chest lifted. Draw that tap leg straight up to the sky as the other leg drops towards the mat. Big stretch through the leg, working through your core. 4, 3, 2, last set. And set those feet down. Last variation of a bridge here, let's do a single leg bridge. So heels are stacked underneath those knees. You're gonna lift up to your best highest bridge. Pull that belly in tight and activate through those hamstrings and glutes. Support yourself through your right foot and stretch that left leg straight up to the sky. Reaching out long through those left toes, point, lower the leg down, flex, come on up. Stretch this left leg down towards the mat and then reach it back up to the sky. Holding steady and strong through this right side. 2 more times. Last one. Set that left foot down. Try not to let the hips lower, just reset in that bridge. Feel steady through this left side. Stretch the right leg up to the sky and we repeat. Point to lower, flex to lift. You're working hard to keep those hips lifted at your highest height and even. So hold strong through this left side. 2 more. Push those arms into the mat to help. Last one. Good. Set that right foot down. Imprint your spine all the way down into the mat. Good. From here, hug those knees back in towards your chest. Rock side to side, massaging your low back. Pull those knees in a little tighter, and then rock yourself all the way up to seated. Your legs are bent, and your feet are resting on the mat. Let's glue those legs together, and then sit up nice and tall, stacking your spine. Reach the arms out in front of you. We're gonna find a C curve of your spine. So pull that belly button back towards the spine, and round. Pulling away from your legs till you feel that core grab on. From here, little tiny lifts, reaches forward. Like you wanted to tap your fingers 2-3 inches forward and then come back. Scoop out through that belly and zip those legs together. It's a small range of motion here, trying to keep the work deep in your core. No momentum here. Good. 4, 3, 2, last one. Restack your spine and lengthen. We're gonna do that same movement, but now we're gonna rotate to the side to get into your obliques. Arms reach out in front of you. Pull that belly button back towards your spine and find a C curve. So pull those shoulders down your back and hollow out through the belly. Both hands come over just outside of this left knee, and we do little tiny reaches. Again, just trying to tap those fingers 2-3 inches farther in front of you. Relax the shoulders. Pull that belly button back towards your spine. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring those hands over to the right. Hollow through the belly, relax the shoulders, and reach. Try not to let those shoulders start creeping up towards your ears. Work through your core, out through your obliques for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Restack through your spine. Stretch those legs out long and come into a forward fold out over those legs. Relax through the upper body, stretch out through the back side of your legs. Good. Restack your spine, and then come lying all the way down. Rounding down, 1 vertebra at a time. Once your head hits the mat, reach back behind you and stretch out fingertips to toes. Great core work there, you guys. From here, we're gonna come onto your left side. So turn yourself over onto your left side and then stretch yourself out long. So let your head rest on that left arm. Stack your hips and stretch those legs out super straight and flex your feet, reaching through your heels. We're gonna do side lifts here. On an exhale, you're gonna lift both legs up off that mat. Inhale, lower to a tap. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. So you're working to keep those hips stacked. Reaching out through your heels. Working the muscles right where your pants hit your waist, right through that waistline. Great. 2 more. Glue those legs together. This time we're gonna lift those legs up and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. From here, let's come on up to that left forearm. So when you come up into a side lying position on your forearm, you want to make sure that your shoulder is stacked over your elbow. Your hips are stacked, one right on top of the other. We're going to keep your bottom left leg bent up underneath you and stretch that right leg out long. Your hand can come to your hip to to make sure that that hip doesn't start to wiggle or move. So reach out through this right heel and get that leg up to hip height. We're gonna do tiny little lift and lower here. So the key is to keep this right working leg really active. Reach out through that heel and keep the range of motion small. Few inches up, few inches down. Reach up and out of the supporting left shoulder. 3, 2, last one. Let's pause with this right leg at hip height. We're gonna sweep the leg forward out in front of you and then point, pull the leg back. So moving with control here so that this right leg sweeps forward and back, but your hips and torso don't come with you. So you want to avoid letting that whole upper body fold and sway with the leg. Good. You want to keep it nice and tight. Belly button to spine. 3 more. 2. Last one. Good. From here, bring that right leg back in line with your hip. Point through the toe. Let's draw little circles forward. So like your big toe was the tip of a paintbrush, draw circles here. Maybe your circles are the size of a grape, or maybe they're the size of a grapefruit or bigger. Working through the outside of your hip. 2 more. Pause, and let's circle it back, up and around. So working through the outside of this hip, stretching that right leg out long. Core is engaged. You're supporting yourself through this left shoulder. 3, 2, last one. Set it down. Good. Last exercise. Working the outside of the hip here. You're gonna bend both legs. Hips are stacked. Think of lining your shins up to the front edge of your mat. Keep your feet glued together. We're gonna do a clamshell here. So open up that top leg and close. So hips stay stacked, open and close. Don't forget about the supporting side. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So keep your legs in this shape. Just lift this right leg up. We're gonna go knee to knee, heel to heel. Internal rotation, external rotation. Finding really nice movement through this hip joint. Good. 4, 3, 2, last one. Let's stretch those legs out long. We're gonna come into a side plank here. So make sure that you feel steady and stacked through these hips. Your feet are one on top of the other. A modification here is to bend that bottom leg up underneath you and reach up to a side lift here. If you want to do the full side plank, stretch both legs out long. Support yourself through this left shoulder and lift those hips up off the mat. Lower down just a little bit and lift right back up. Little hip dips here. Pull that belly button back towards your spine. Work through your waistline. Lift those hips up to your highest point and hold. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Great job. From here, you're going to turn yourself over onto your stomach so that we can come into some planks. So let's start on your knees here. We're going to do a forearm plank. So stack your shoulders right over your elbows. And then stretch one leg back behind you and then the other. Find your best plank form. Long, flat back. Think of lengthening from the crown of your head back through your heels. From here, we're just going to move forward and back. Sawing the plank. Come up to the tips of your toes. Reach back through your heels. Try not to let those hips start lifting up into a pike. Keep that long, flat back. 4, 3, 2, last one. Beautiful. Come onto your knees, push back into a rest position stretch. So think of sinking your tailbone back towards your heels, let that upper body fold. And then reach out long through those arms. Let's come up and over to the other side. So swing those legs around and come lying all the way down on your right side. Your head just rests on your arm. What's important here is that your hips are stacked, one right on top of the other. Those legs are glued together and you're reaching through your heels, side lifts. Exhale, lift both legs up. Inhale, lower down. Imagine those legs were glued together, they move as a unit. Working right from where your pants hit your waist. Exhale and inhale. Next time we lift those legs, we're gonna hold them here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Bring yourself up to that right forearm position. Shoulder stacks right over the elbow. Hips are stacked. Bottom leg stays bent. We're now working this top left leg. So stretch this left leg out long. Reach out through the heel, and we do your tiny little leg lifts to the sky. Keeping the range of motion really small so that you feel the work through the outside of your hip, down the outside of your thigh. Belly button's pulling back. You're supporting yourself through this right shoulder. 3, 2, last one. Pause at hip height. We're gonna reach through the heel, sweep this left leg forward, point, pull it back. So again, trying not to let your hips and your upper body move around. Just move this left leg forward and then drag it back. Trying to stay right at hip height. So your core is engaged the whole time here so that that upper body and hips don't move. 2 more times. Reach and pull. Last one. Good. Bring this left leg right back in line with your hip and hip height. We're going to draw your circles forward. So find that size circle that works for you. One side might feel completely different than the other. That's totally okay. Listen to your own body. 4, 3, 2, last one. Pause at hip height and circle it back. This left leg now feels like it weighs about 500 pounds. That's how it should feel. Try to keep it up there at hip height and then circle it for 4, 3, 2, last one. Set it down. Stack that top leg right over the bottom one and bring those shins in line with the front edge of your mat. Keeping your feet glued together, we're going to open up that top leg and close. Clamshell here. So as much as the emphasis is on this lower part of the body, we're still keeping our core engaged and working to strengthen through this right shoulder. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So keep this shape of your top left leg, just bring it up a few inches. We're going to go knee to knee, heel to heel. Internal rotation, external rotation. Finding that movement through your hip joint. Let's do 2 more. Knee to heel, last one. Good. Moving on to that side plank. So stretch those legs out long. Make sure your hips are stacked. You can start by placing this hand down on the mat. With control, lift those hips up high. Then maybe bring that hand to your hip and little tiny hip dips here. If the hip dips are too much, just hold in your plank. Listening to your own body is always what's most important. 4, 3, 2. This time when we lift, we're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Good. So last time we did a forearm plank. This time let's come into a high plank. So high plank, arms are straight. You want to stack your shoulders right over those wrists. Stretch one leg back behind you and then the other. So again, you're in a long, flat, diagonal back. Try to pull the shoulders down your back and draw the belly button to your spine. Working on your best form. You can stay right here and hold, or you can add on. Point through those right toes. Do little, tiny lifts and lowers with this right leg. Nothing else moves. Nothing else changes. 3, 2, and 1. Set that right foot down, reset. Point through the left toes, little lift, tap to the mat. Straighten out those arms. Make sure your head isn't falling down. Keep it in line with your spine. 3, 2. Last one. Beautiful. Come down to your knees and push back to that rest position stretch. Whew. It's a lot of work to do planks through that whole body. So circle out those wrists and then reach that tailbone back for your heels. Good. From here, let's focus on your glutes and hamstrings. We're going to come back down onto your forearms. Your knees are stacked underneath your hips. You're going to start by stretching this left leg out really straight and point through the toes. We're going to do a little lift and lower back down. When you lift and lower this left leg, you're not letting it lift super high so that hip opens up. Keep those hips square. Tap and lift. Long, flat back here. Core is engaged. 4. How straight can you get this left leg? 3, 2. Hold the leg lifted and do little pulses. Make sure those hips are even. Squeezing from your glute down through your hamstring for 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Good. Left leg comes back onto the mat. Reposition. And now stretch that right leg out long. Hips are square. Belly's pulling to spine. Point through those right toes. Lift and lower. So throughout this whole workout, we're working to find controlled movements. Small range of motion, focusing on your form, tightening up through the muscles versus using momentum. 3, 2. On this one, hold and do your little pulses. Hips are even, core is pulling tight. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Beautiful. So let's come all the way down now onto your belly. Crisscross your forearms in front of you and let your chin just rest on your hands. Let's work the back side of the body, starting with the lower half. So your legs are stretched out long behind you. Now activate them. Try to get those knees hovering up off of the mat. On an inhale, try to lift those legs a little higher. Exhale, lower them to a hover. Lift and lower. Working your low back, glutes, hamstrings. If you want to make it more challenging, bring those arms out to goal post arms and keep your nose hovering. Let's add in the upper body. This time when you lift up through that upper back and the legs. Hold. Exhale, lower down. Lift and lower. Try to engage every muscle in the back side of your body. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. This time, let's lift up and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Great job, you guys. So let those forearms come down onto the mat. Push your hips back towards your heels and find that rest position stretch. Stretching and letting those muscles lengthen out is just as important as all the work that we do. One more deep breath here. Good. Let's come back up to the seated position that we started in. Whatever seat is comfortable for you. And let's just give that upper body a stretch. Reach out through those arms, maybe bring your gaze up to the sky. Set that right hand down on the mat, reach up and over with that left arm. You guys did such a great job today. Hopefully you feel longer, leaner. Reach both arms up. Left arm comes down, right arm comes up and over. We worked a lot through your side body. So make sure you give it a nice stretch here. Come back up through center, lengthen through the crown of your head, and let those arms come down. I hope you guys enjoyed your workout. I hope to see you next time. Thank you.